So, this is how painting the journal went. Not exactly what I was going for. I realized my mistake, and I think I could fix it and start from scratch, but I don't want to. I don't know when I'm going to do something to add it. I guess one of the ways I could fix it. I'm sure there's more than one. But I should have just painted really, really lightly, because when I had more paint, so for this flower here, you started to lose the texture. And because I spray painted it with thick spray paint, I was already losing some of that texture and the pattern. And if I had just painted very lightly, it would have been a whole different game. But yeah, this is no good. This is kind of an uggo thing. The idea was good, execution was not. So we'll see. I like it better than it was, but it's definitely not what I want it to be at all. So I don't know how I'm going to fix that yet. I'll get around to it sometime. Now, speaking of things that I will get around to, I've had this mold of my teeth for I don't know how many years now, from when I got a mouth guard made, and I knew that I wanted to do something with them and I wanted to paint them, and I guess I have new paperweights. I don't know. I don't know what am I going to do with these? Like nothing. But I felt like doing it, so I did. And now here we are, you know? This is what we got. Why not, right? I have a lot to talk about. It's been a very busy day. It's Wednesday. I'm on my way to the studio right now, and I'm afraid of what I'm going to find. There's been a water main break on this block, and I don't know if it's affected the basement of the building, of the Trianon or not. So that's what I need to go find out. So it appears that I'm assuming the water main break is connected to the city cleaning up the hotel fire. There's been several businesses that have posted on their social media saying they're closed until further notice because they're flooded. And I've got paintings in the basement. So all my finished work is kept in the basement. And like I said, there's a lot of other stuff going on. I just got back from the hospital for that cyst removal. If you don't know, I had a cyst on my scalp due to the trauma that my head endured from falling off a small cliff while mountain biking. The point of impact was like my back and my head, and thus some cyst grew there like back in June, and it just fluid kept coming out of it. And so, they were able to go in and like remove that, I guess. But man, I've got a killer headache already, and they just finished up like a half hour ago. I've got a lot of instructions that I need to follow. Anyway, so that's a thing. That was really gross. They did some local freezing, but I had to interrupt myself. Got the moment of truth coming right away for the basement to double check. Oh, okay, good. Looks dry to me. Good. Okay. As I was saying, they did freezing locally, and that always hurts. I've only had local freezing twice in my life, and this being the second time. The first time, it doesn't seem like my body takes to it super awesome. Not that like there's effects afterwards necessarily, but it just takes a lot to freeze the area, and it's very painful. And even though they freeze it, it's still actively not frozen, I guess. So anyway, Yeah, it was really gross. Like, I could hear them just slicing into my skin. Gross, squishing sounds. Blood just like squirting out. The surgeon talked to me beforehand about the amount of blood and that this thing's going to ooze. And because it's at the back of my head, it's high risk for infection because of bacteria from hair. And so, sounds like a fun time. Yeah. I've got a horrible headache. I took an Advil before I went. I took one after. And I think before it gets really bad, I should take another one. Because my experience with migraines is that if I don't take two right away, like then it's hard to stop it once it starts, like in earnest. But if I can try to stop it before it really begins, then I've got a better shot at staving it off. So anyway, that's part of today's fun stuff. Also, it appears that I have some job prospects on the horizon. I had a call today for an interview. And because this is going up before my interview, sorry for like the horrible audio and video right now, but like I want to vlog, but I also want to get going and get stuff done and enjoy some studio time here. Sorry. Oh, what in the world? What happened here? Did it stop recording? Nope. I hit a setting with my finger because it's a touch screen, so oh my goodness. Okay, I need to take an Advil. I need to sit down. This is brutal. My head hurts horrendously. Anyway, I could like feel them like touch my skull. Ugh. And it's just like gnarly. Like, it's not like feel as in painful, but like feel and hear like kind of like similar to like when you're at the dentist and they like do scraping to your teeth, but it was my skull. So that's mega fun times. Anyway, job prospects. So I don't really want to say a lot because that's weird. I feel, my goodness. But I got a job interview next week for something I'm excited about. You'd think you should be excited for any job prospect when you're looking for jobs. Why do I apply to a job that I wasn't excited about, right? But one I'm excited about more than another, and yeah, that's next week. And then I got a call today, not to set up an interview, but it was a screening call to see if I would be suitable for an interview. And it sounded like it went well. I don't know where my phone is now. My goodness. It sounds like I'll get a call for an interview based off of what they told me there. But the other part of this is that I'm missing work. I'm missing days of potential work. It's not even that I'm missing work because I never know if I'm working or not. That's the whole thing with subbing. I don't know if I'm going to be working. I don't know. Like, I've got to pick a time. I mean, I had to go to the hospital today. I have to go to the hospital next week for gastroscopy and colonoscopy. But I also have a job interview a different day. There's no school on another day. So it only gives me 2 days of opportunity to work. And it's like, what if I have an interview for that other job and and then I got to go to the hospital again in 2 weeks so they can take the stitches out or the sutures or whatever. Oh, man. Just like I'm trying to climb out of this hole of debt and trying to move forward and trying to get a job that is fulfilling and advancing and also stable. And it's just like, in the meantime, though, I've got to pay rent. And it's like, I keep having job interviews during the middle of the day when I could possibly be at work. But again, I never know. It's like, okay, my job interview is Monday. As of right now, I'm not working Monday. I don't, So, for example, I had this appointment that I couldn't put in either day, this hospital appointment today for the cyst removal. And it's Wednesday. I worked Monday. I was requested to work Monday. Tuesday had nothing, no calls, nothing, no work, no reason that I couldn't work. But then I got calls for Wednesday when I have this freaking appointment. And it's like, man, like missing 1 day a week, okay. But all of a sudden, like, and then it's the whole thing with just the system of like, the more you work, the more you get called to work. The less you work and there's no momentum, the less you get called. And it's like, okay, well, I had an appointment. I couldn't do anything about it. Well, next week now I have 2 appointments I can't do anything about. And if I don't get called on the days that I'm available, I don't get paid for that whole week again. And it's just a mess. So I'm hoping that one of these jobs, pays off. Because that's the other thing is, like, if you think about missing a day of subbing for me is $200. That's a big chunk of money. That's 10% of my monthly budget. Like, a little more than that. Like, to miss that multiple times in a month, I mean, part of it, like, you miss because there's, like, professional development days. But then I got an appointment, and then I have a job interview, and it's just like, to put your hope in that too, like, I got a job interview, that's great. But to not get the job, it's more than just wasting my time and energy applying and during the interview. It's throwing away the opportunity to pay rent. Like, pay bills, get groceries, get gas, like $200, right? But I might not get a call that day, and it might work out fine, but you never know, and thus is the nature of subbing. Just wrapping up the old vlog. I need to go back to the studio tomorrow and move some things around. It turns out that in the basement, the building right next to us has had some flooding as well. So it's not just the other end of the block, it is also right next to our building. So I wish I knew that while I was there today, and I could have spent time today doing that, but I was just made aware of it late afternoon when I was already gone. So tomorrow I gotta go and move things around and make sure that the paintings and whatnot are higher off the floor, so they are not going to get damaged if there is any flooding that takes place. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The only other video this week was a conversation that I had about hope and balancing that with expectations and the difficulty that I'm having there. So